Let's go!
We are ready to go. The Ravens and the Chiefs here in Kansas City. Current temperature 72 degrees. It's dry right now, but there are thunderstorms in the forecast, and it was pouring in the pregame. Yesterday, the weather was wacky as well, so who knows, Dan, how this one is going to go. Normally, you'd think, oh, running teams will benefit. Patrick Mahomes has a little bit of experience, though, playing in the rain.
Yeah, talking to his mother just moments ago, she said he had his best game in high school on a freezing, rainy night. He's very thankful that he has large hands to wrap around that slippery football.
Yeah, Jamal Charles, Chiefs legend, getting the festivities started here at Arrowhead, and it is raucous as usual. Tyreek Hill still out, but a good sign that the sling is off. Hill had a shoulder injury week 1, sternum, collarbone issues. The initial prognosis 4 to 6 weeks, but he was in the locker room this week with no sling, dribbling a basketball.
Oh, he's doing jumping jacks on the sidelines. The left arm needs to get up a little bit more into the air, but that is a good sign.
Baltimore won the toss. They have deferred. Underway in Kansas City, the kick from Tucker booms it through the back of the end zone, and the Chiefs will have it at the 25-yard line to open up. Patrick Mahomes last week, 443 yards, 4 touchdowns in that win over Oakland, and they could do no wrong in the second quarter.
And I know it's early. We've only played 2 games, Zion, but the pace that Mahomes is on would result in him throwing for 6,000 yards and over 55 touchdowns. Now, it won't be that easy today against one of the most varied and physical defenses in the NFL.
Double tight end set with Kelce and Bell to open up, and LaShawn McCoy starting at tailback. Mahomes pump and throw. Not a lot of space there for Blake Bell, and he is tackled immediately on the outside as Chuck Clark was in there for Baltimore. 1-yard pickup. So offensively for Kansas City, no Eric Fisher. As Evan mentioned, Cam Irving, jack of all trades, steps in for him. And the backs and receivers with Tyreek Hill out, that left the door open for Demarcus Robinson to have his best game as a pro last week. He went for 6 catches, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 28-10 victory in Oakland. Working out of the gun, McCoy in motion. Mahomes steps up. Mahomes has some room. Mahomes has the first down on the tuck and run. Pernell McPhee supplied the pressure, and then Mahomes looped out of it for 11.
Now they're playing with 5 defensive backs in the secondary. And Mahomes, this is his longest run of the season, and just the 3rd time that he's had to carry the ball. Good for 11 yards and a really crucial first down.
And Dan, last week, first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that he went scoreless, and the Chiefs went scoreless in the first quarter. They made up for it in the second. Mahomes looking long. A laser beam downfield. Kelce with a catch, and it's into Baltimore territory.
And you just can't give Mahomes this much time, because Kelce, with his experience and speed, watches he's going to drift to the right of the pocket. It's a floating pocket to get away from the pressure. And Kelce, wide open over the middle, beats Chuck Clark. And the Chiefs are in Baltimore territory after that 21-yard gain. But too much time for Mahomes in the sliding pocket.
Kelce had his 18th career 100-yard game last week. 7 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Once again from the gun, fake. Mahomes, that sidearm delivery to Sammy Watkins. Ball popped free at the end. Ravens came sliding in, and Kansas City retains it.
Now Earl Thomas right in the middle of things with the big hit. Marlon Humphrey as well with the combination that popped the ball out. Hardman quick to recover that ball as they're still trying to peel players off each other.
They've already indicated Kansas City will retain possession. Mecole Hardman, the rookie out of Georgia, came away with it.
Now give Humphrey a lot of credit for the do I dare say this, the tomahawk chop right there here in Kansas City almost resulted in a big turnover.
Well, you said it, so it's over.
Oh, well, you nodded, though. You said it was okay.
Okay. Kansas City has a first down after the catch, and Mahomes is walking to the sideline. Obviously, an issue with the play coming in
Well, it took the officials a long time to unpile that scrum there at the bottom of that fumble recovery. And the play clock was running, and Mahomes looked up, so he didn't have enough time to make his checks.
Andy Reid was just screaming over in the direction of John Hussey. And now Hussey will have a chat with Reid. All right, so right now it's dry, and it's actually very comfortable here in Kansas City. That was not the case earlier. That was your umbrella, actually. You lost it on the walk into the stadium. Grounds crew trying to deal with the rain, and this could happen again. We're talking about the 1:30, 2 o'clock local range as we check in with Evan Washburn down on the field.
Well, guys, credit to the grounds crew because this field's in fantastic shape right now. Yes, it's going to dig up a little bit, but it is not saturated by any means, despite how much rain was on this field.
The field has a natural crown to it, so the water drains to the sidelines. So the sidelines could be an issue.
Nickel package here for Baltimore. Anthony Averett is in. Mahomes deep drop off his back foot, floats it up, nobody home. Incomplete. Pressure coming from Owasso, and Mahomes had to get rid of it.
Yeah, Owasso coming right up the middle. Now watch number 48. He's totally unblocked here. Andrew Wiley late recognizing the blitz of the middle linebacker.
The Chiefs have won 9 straight September games. The last loss, week 2 of 2016. A flag is thrown. It's at the 37-yard line. Could it be intentional grounding?
Intentional grounding. Offense number 15. 10-yard penalty. Lost it down. Second down.
So back it up for Kansas City as Mahomes tossed it down the field. Gene Steratore, our rules analyst, just saw the play. What'd you see, Gene?
You've got a quarterback in the pocket under pressure, so that criteria is met. It looks like there is a little collision there with Kelce and a couple other players where one player may have gotten there. The officials cannot assume that. The ball, there's no one around, eligible receiver. It's a good call for intentional grounding.
And Gene, 2 bodies fell down for Kansas City. That's what they were pointing to at the big screen here as Mahomes gets rid of it on the outside. Watkins redirects and then takes a shot from Humphrey. 4.5 on the pass play.
Well, Marlon Humphrey really making his presence felt on Sammy Watkins. Forced a fumble moments ago and then just delivered a huge hit as Watkins trying to get down the sidelines. This is a physical, varied defense that Wink Martindale coordinates so well.
The Ravens have blitzed on 44% of dropbacks. That's the 3rd highest number in the league right now defensively. Darrell Williams is in, second-year back from LSU. 7th play of the drive, 3rd and 15 for Kansas City. Mahomes, rush coming. Mahomes is sacked back at the 49. Matthew Judon gets to the quarterback.
Now this is a big concern for Kansas City with Cameron Irving taking Eric Fisher's spot. Here's Judon, and here is Irving. And you can see the speed of Judon just blows right by number 75.
So good start for John Harbaugh's defense.
It took him out of field goal range.
That was a loss of 11 yards. And Butker's got very good range. So Dustin Colquitt, who sets a new Chiefs record with this appearance, the most games in franchise history, 225th. The punter, fair catch called for. Cyrus Jones, and Baltimore will have it after the 31-yard kick. No score. The Ravens and the Chiefs. Baltimore and Lamar Jackson on the field when we come back to Arrowhead. First play from scrimmage for Baltimore in the pistol. Jackson's ball is tipped and still handled. Hayden Hurst caught it, but Damian Wilson was ready. They'll pick up a gain of 3 on the play.
Now Alex Okafor goes 6'4", very athletic. Watch him get up in the air and tip this ball. And the adjustment here to make this catch by Hurst. And then he pays for it. Could have been a disastrous pick 6 right there on the first play for the Ravens.
Line of scrimmage is now the 19. And Jackson dealing with the crowd noise. Fake it. Jackson sets and Zings it in there for Nick Boyle. First down. Out across the 40-yard line for a 23-yard hookup.
Well, 86 is Boyle, and he gets right into the zone here, middle of the Chiefs defense. And boy, you talk about, you did say zinged it. Boy, he did zing that one over the middle. He's got a very quick release. Doesn't always throw from the same arm angle, but very effective nonetheless.
Yeah, he said he learned that just from playing street ball. He developed a lot of those arm angles that you'll see throughout the day. Jackson play action, sells it well. Jackson standing tall in the pocket. Deep ball! And over the head of Marquise Brown. Two defenders in the area for Kansas City, Ward and Thornhill. So Lamar Jackson, there's a confidence about him, and he's having a lot of fun out there with his teammates, enjoying the process, and winning obviously helps a great deal.
And according to John Harbaugh, his improvement revolves around his better understanding of the opponent's defense, seeing the entire field, and perhaps most important, knowing when to stay a passer before turning into a runner.
Harbaugh said he thinks that Jackson has a photographic football mind. He sees something once, it's in there forever.
That's what all great ones have.
Three wide receivers set, but they'll run it. Ingram on the outside, busting through. Ingram stumbles across the 40. Impressive run. He made two Chiefs miss in the process.
Well, Willie Snead is going to be in the slot blocking right here on Fuller, and this ball is going to come right in behind him. But the impressive thing about this is how he breaks one tackle there, runs away from two more, and then sidesteps a third. Good for another 21-yard gain, back to back.
Ingram told us the identity of this team fits him. Physical, tough, high character guys, good locker room. He said the Ravens play the right way. Jackson will keep it. The zigzag move by Jackson, and he's forced out by Fuller. And that's the wide spectrum that Baltimore brings offensively. This offensive line has been outstanding first couple of weeks, anchored by Marshall Yonda, the perennial Pro Bowler.
Well, they can play 1950s football with three tight ends, and of course the big fullback Ricard. They can spread things out. They can run. We've seen already the play-action passing game that's gotten the Ravens to the 31-yard line of the Chiefs, but he's so dangerous, and he's given the entire offense, and he's handling it all.
And they trust him on all those QB reads. It's a give. Ingram plowing just short of the 25. Leans in on Darren Lee and picks up 5 yards. New set of downs for Baltimore to work with. Kansas City defensively, that's been the question mark, whether or not they would take a big enough step forward. So far, so good. First 2 weeks under Steve Spagnuolo, getting some pressure on the quarterback. They'll mix and match between their secondary and the linebackers. Jalen Ramsey rumors, not just with Kansas City, but with Baltimore as well. A lot of teams covet the services of the Jacksonville corner, but no trade as of yet. 7th play of the drive. Out of the pistol. Jackson throws it. Deep ball over the head of Brown. Incomplete. Breeland in coverage.
This is the other part of the spectrum of the offense, the speed of Marquise Brown. Testing Breeland right away. They're going to get their feet tangled up so there's no pass interference. The ball clearly overthrown. That's twice now that Jackson's tried to go deep to Brown and has overthrown both of them because of pretty good coverage by the Chiefs secondary.
And Hollywood Brown has been electric the first 2 weeks of the season. The rookie out of Oklahoma, 25th pick overall. 2nd and 10, same formation. He'll keep it. Jackson. Little dance move to the outside. Willie Snead with a block. Out of bounds, 5-yard pickup for Lamar Jackson, the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner.
Well, it's a good read here. He sees the defensive end crash down. That's Frank Clark. He pulls the ball, and another positive play for this Ravens offense on a very impressive opening drive.
9th play of the drive. No quarterback has rushed for more yards in their first 9 starts than Lamar Jackson. 3rd and 5. Jackson over the middle. Jackson connects Mark Andrews. It is very close. Andrews, 8 catches, 112 yards, a touchdown last week in the victory over Arizona.
They're going to bring the chains out because that solid tackle kept the 256-pound tight end away from maybe a first down, but good protection for Jackson.
Ooh, that little lunge at the end.
It's a real quick decision, too, by Jackson. Saw the hook route over the middle and took it. Didn't get greedy.
He got it.
Yeah, that lunge got it, didn't it?
So they'll move the chains. Line of scrimmage is now the 16-yard line of Kansas City. Well, we asked John Harbaugh about this team, what stood out so far. He said, it's a very young group, very positive group. They truly believe in what we're doing. He said, look, of course, going back, Super Bowl team was fantastic, loved that team. He said this group has a chance to be very special.
Well, they're very balanced, and they really present a lot of problems to their opponent on both sides of the ball.
Shotgun. Jackson pulls the trigger. End zone. Off the hand of Andrews. Incomplete.
But they're not shy about spreading it around and spreading it deep, trying for the end zone here. The out route, the little wheel route on Damian Wilson. Again, slightly overthrown, but really tight coverage by Wilson. Give him a lot of credit staying with the tight end.
Wilson came over from Dallas. He's known for his prowess in coverage. Signed a 2-year, $5.7 million deal with KC. Fake. Jackson on a line, too high. Nick Boyle is a big target, 6'4", 270. He skied it over his tight end.
Now Jackson's 3 for 7 now, and all 3 of his completions have come to the tight ends.
So Baltimore's been consistent. Touchdowns on the Ravens' first possession each of the first 2 games. They've never done it first 3 games of the season. The blowout win over Miami, 59-10 week 1. Jackson went for 5 touchdowns, 324 yards. 12th play of the drive. 3rd and 10. Baltimore will go empty. Jackson. Spin. Jackson keeps the play alive. Jackson stumbles across the 10. It's short of a first down. So weaving through traffic. Frank Clark was trying to locate him. 4th down.
Yeah, it's a 4-man rush, so they're going to drop 7 and really keep their eyes on Jackson. Look at the zone defense here. There's really no place for him to go. Trying to create something. Brown is taken out of it. Ingram is kind of more of a decoy. Going to go for it on 4th. And what's that, 3?
They're listing it as 2. It's 4th down, and Baltimore's going to go.
Well, I would take the points here. They don't get it. This crowd is going to go absolutely crazy.
Ingram sets up as a receiver. And it's waved off. Jackson flings it to the end zone. The play had already been whistled.
I think the Ravens called timeout from the sidelines.
They did. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Pepsi. Well, Andy Reid's defense being tested here. John Harbaugh making the decision to go for it on 4th and 2.
And talking to Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator, earlier this week, he says we've got to finish drives with touchdowns. Now we'll see. A field goal here would help quiet this crowd for a bit and this is a long drive, a lot of plays, been very impressive. If they come away empty, 13th play of the drive here.
Justice Hill, the rookie out of Oklahoma State in the backfield. Jackson on 4th down. Steps. Jackson has the angle. Jackson has a first down inside the 5. So this drive remains alive thanks to the legs of Lamar Jackson.
Well, he makes the decision to turn into a runner right about here. He knows he's got the first down right now. Checking out his chances to get in the end zone. Good tackle keeps him short of that, but the gamble pays off.
It was Ward who made the play along the sideline. 7-yard scamper for Lamar Jackson. 1st and goal for Baltimore. Motion man is Snead. Running play right up the gut. Touchdown, Mark Ingram. The Ravens on the board first. What an opening statement. 14 plays, 84 yards, 6.5 minutes for Baltimore.
And as easy a touchdown run as Mark Ingram has had in a long, long time. A walk-in here at Arrowhead. Perfect balance on that drive, Ian. 14 plays, 7 of each, runs and passes.
And the extra point from Justin Tucker, and it did quiet the crowd. Flag down at the 10.
There's a flag on the play.
Kansas City was down to Oakland last week and then exploded in the second quarter. All 28 of their points came in the second. They ended up with 464 yards of offense overall. They allowed 307 to Oakland.
Illegal formation. Receiving teams. Number 95. Baltimore has elected to go for the 2-point try from the 1-yard line.
So they will take the point off the board. 7-0 lead is currently back to 6-0. And they are
Confident.
Certainly showing you their cards early.
Absolutely. Defensively, they held Mahomes down in that first drive. They hit him a number of times. Now, offensively, they are emptying the playbook on the Chiefs right now. And the wild card, the reason this team is special, Lamar Jackson makes it special.
Well, they already gambled once, elected not to kick the field goal.
They have so many options here, though, that they can do.
That gamble paid off. Second gamble right now. 3 tight end formation. Jackson cuts it upfield, comes up short. Jackson took a hit from Derek Nutty. It is a 6-0 lead for Baltimore. They could not convert for 2. Ingram, the touchdown run to give the Ravens the early lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2020 Lincoln Aviator. T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Americans. T-Mobile, America's network. And by Burger King. Try the all-new Impossible Whopper, made from plants.
6-0 lead for the Ravens. They were denied on a 2-point try after the touchdown run by Ingram. Justin Tucker, the big kick. Touchback for Kansas City.
Go back to the touchdown. Marshall Yanda and his center buddy here, right here. Watch the double team. Running behind their best lineman. Great job by Skura coming off on the linebacker and a walk-in, but a lot of power here. No deception at all. A couple of tight ends, a big fullback. Ricard is in there, and just an outstanding play by Nottie to deny Jackson.
Kansas City has scored 25 or more points in 24 straight games, an NFL record. So the Ravens mentality, you got to put points on the board. You can't win by scoring 17 against the Chiefs. Good run by LaShawn McCoy with Blake Bell and Demarcus Robinson blocking upfield. It's a 12-yard burst and a first down for KC.
Yeah, other than Mahomes' scramble for 11 yards on the first drive, that's their first run for a running back. Turned out to be a good one. Ravens are concerned with the passing game, and the Chiefs gutted them with the pull of the tight end Blake Bell for McCoy.
Now, Andy Reid told us if teams continue to stack the box against us, we're going to wing it all over the field if necessary. I have no problem going 1980s Chargers on these opponents. I think he said that for you. Mahomes, flick of the wrist, downfield, too far. Mecole Hardman can fly, but couldn't catch up to that one.
Why would you stack the box against Kansas City? Because their running attack, averages 72 yards a game, and their passing attack over 400 yards a game. I think I'd be stacking the secondary.
So Tyreek Hill, pregame, was in there with his guys and certainly supporting them. They hope to have him back sooner than later. But in his stead, Watkins, Robinson, and Hardman have gotten the job done. 2nd and 10. Mahomes in the air, perfectly thrown. Kelsey goes upstairs for it. It's a first down. He laid it out there for 6'5" Kelsey.
This one may be coming back.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 90.
15 to it.
That 15-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of the catch. Automatic. First down.
It's going to turn into about a 36-yard play because of that low hit by McPhee. But what Mahomes does is he knows his personnel. He knows he can put it up high to Kelsey. And Kelsey is so athletic and wants the ball above the defense.
So 21 yards plus the 15. That's your 36-yard gain for Kansas City. Now they're in business. Little trickery. Sammy Watkins has nowhere to go. Fans wanted a flag at the end of the play. Watkins loses a yard on the run. Kenny Young touched him up along the sideline.
Watkins so versatile. He's like a big running back at 211 pounds and totally healthy now. And he showed that in game 1 against Jacksonville.
Wink Martindale in his second year as the defensive coordinator for Baltimore. Aggressive group. 2nd and 11. Fake it. Mahomes sells it hard, and Mahomes connects with Kelsey over the middle. Inside the 20, short of a first down. They gain 9. Kelsey in a matchup with the talented safety Tony Jefferson, who missed this game last year against Kansas City with an ankle injury.
Well, look at the reaction of the defense here. They really don't know which way to go. And they leave the middle of the field wide open. Good ball handling here by McCoy. I mean, by Mahomes, rather.
AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Patrick Mahomes. That second quarter was a thing of beauty, 278 yards. Toss up, Darrell Williams, first down. Ridden down by Kenny Young out on the perimeter. Catch and run of 11.
Real good, quick decision and release by Mahomes. Had pressure coming right in his face. A hot receiver is Williams.
Mahomes is 8 of 10, 78 yards. Lamar Jackson waiting for his turn. First and goal for Kansas City. 6-0 lead for Baltimore. Shady McCoy in the backfield. From the gun. Mahomes swings it. McCoy, shake and bake move. Dropped just inside the 4. So it's a gain of 4. Chuck Clark, first guy over there for Baltimore. 2nd and goal. Prior to last week, Kansas City had scored in 22 straight first quarters.
You got to identify where number 87 is right away if you're the Ravens. Here he is at the top of the formation.
Watkins motion man on a 2nd and goal. Mahomes tosses it through the back of the end zone, incomplete with 30 seconds to go in the first. Pressure from Judon.
But again, Mahomes goes down. He's been hit 3 times now this first quarter. You go back to game 14 of last season when the Ravens got to him and knocked him down 15 times as he threw 53 times in that game.
9th play of the drive for Kansas City.
You got Kelsey split out, single receiver side.
Watkins in motion. Mahomes spins, elusive. Mahomes has to throw it away. The pressure once again from Baltimore, and it's giving Mahomes fits with a flag down. Mahomes was down on the ground. Judon and Williams put the heat on him.
Personal foul. Defense.
That's a crusher for Baltimore.
Now penalties enforced after this is the goal. Automatic. First down.
Horse collar tackle.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with when Mahomes was on the ground. Judon stepped over him, but he tackled him. Watch his right hand go right to the shoulder pad here inside the jersey. Good call by the officials. But more concerning to me, though, Ian, is that's 4 times now that the Ravens have gotten to the young quarterback. Got him on the ground.
First and goal for Kansas City after the penalty. Mahomes on a give. And Williams gets stacked up, playing without Damian Williams out with knee trouble. So it's LaShawn McCoy, Darrell Williams getting opportunities. Kenny Young in on that hit. And an issue now for Kansas City. It's Andrew Wiley, the starting left guard.
And that is a big problem because, remember, Eric Fisher's out. Cameron Irving has to fill his spot. Now the Chiefs may be down another offensive lineman.
Jeff Allen would step in for Wiley. We'll keep an eye on that and step aside. Late stages of the first quarter in Kansas City. The Ravens in front, 6-0. They were checking the right leg of left guard Andrew Wiley. Trying to work through it right now. Jeff Allen is in there to replace him. 28 points last week in the second quarter against Oakland. Most by any team in a quarter since 1992, Green Bay. We start the second. Kansas City, a second and goal. Running play on the stutter step, trying to push the pile. McCoy is short. They're going to mark it at the 1. Third and goal.
A little inside handoff to McCoy. And very stout up front, obviously, with Brandon Williams at 336. Michael Pierce, 345, and Wormley, another 300-pounder. Tough to move those big boys.
12th play of the drive. A shift.
Let's go on, Eddie!
On the give. McCoy! Touchdown! Kansas City. Shady goes airborne.
Watch the end of the line here. Kelsey stands up. Clark pushes him out of the way. And McCoy smartly gets in behind that block for the touchdown. A lot of shifting before that play may have created some confusion in the Raven defense.
6-time Pro Bowler just had a word with his offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. And now Butker on for the extra point and the lead. Right down the middle. 12 plays, 75 yards. McCoy got cut by Buffalo. Andy Reid wanted a reunion. And here in week 3, it's paying off. LaShawn McCoy in the end zone.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. And by Verizon, the network more people rely on.
Arrowhead Stadium Hall of Honor, 26,000 square foot museum devoted to the history of the Chiefs and the AFL, founded by Lamar Hunt. Some great names through the years. Great football town. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens down 7-6. Ravens will have it at the 25-yard line. Well, this year marks the 100th season of the NFL. Let's take you back. 50 years, the Giants and the Cowboys, Fran Tarkenton and Craig Morton, the quarterbacks. Cowboys won the game 25-3. The reason we're showing you this, today in Kansas City, it's the first game since then to feature 2 quarterbacks to have thrown at least 7 touchdown passes on the season without an INT. So Mahomes and Jackson collaborating, harkening back to those days.
And those are 2 quarterbacks that were not afraid to throw an interception.
Can you relate? 7-6 Kansas City. Ravens with the ball. Ingram rumbles inside. And that was something that Greg Roman talked about. The fact that Mark Ingram will grab you 4 yards on a carry, and it's the right play. He's not looking to hit the home run every time he touches the football.
Yeah, he is a power runner. Doesn't have blazing speed, but he knows how important it is to keep, matriculating the ball down the field, if you will.
Where's Hank? Hank Stram, of course.
All right, Skippy.
The great Hank Stram.
Hall of Famer.
Jackson faked the handoff, has time. Jackson delivers. Oh, what a grab! Hollywood Brown, was he in bounds? No, incomplete.
Well, that's the best pass of the day for Lamar Jackson, and Brown almost gets his feet down. He's just kind of lulling the defense to sleep, and then he bursts down the sidelines, and that right foot comes down out of bounds. But again, it's a deep pass. Greg Roman trying to loosen up the secondary of the Chiefs.
Well, throwing deep balls, Lamar said it was really all about reps. He worked on that a lot during the offseason. He knew that was the area where he needed the most improvement in year 2. This is a 3rd and 6. Jackson under pressure. Catch is made, but short initially. Boy, he got a good spot. Mark Andrews. And it's right at the line to gain.
Boy, that is a generous mark. I don't think he got anywhere near the 35-yard line.
And it is a 1st down for Baltimore. Ravens should be speeding this up so Kansas City doesn't see it on replay.
That's a terrible mark.
Not Andrews, you mean the mark of the football.
It's a good catch and everything, but he was a good yard short of the 1st down. And he's going to challenge it.
Kansas City is challenging the ruling on the field of a 1st down. Timeout.
Yeah, that's where you play the game in the game. You're rushing to the line, trying to get things done. Kansas City saw enough evidence, and they've challenged it. John Hussey just made the announcement to the crowd here. They looked at the replay. He was short, and Harbaugh has decided to go for it on 4th down. It is less than a yard. Catch was made by Mark Andrews. Did not get to the line to gain. And now another risk taken by Harbaugh.
Well, he has the magic weapon in Lamar Jackson. Be interesting. He keeps him in the shotgun and no quarterback sneak here.
4th down on the give. It will be enough. Gus Edwards. Physical run inside to pick up 2.5, 3 yards when they needed less than a yard.
Now let's go back to Mark Andrews. Here's where he's got to get to, right about exactly right on the 35, and you'll see his feet never even cross that line, and he's tackled immediately. Good challenge by Andy Reid, and good tackling by the Chiefs.
First down for Baltimore. Pistol here with Ingram back in. Handles the snap. Jackson devoured. Kansas City came away with the football. Damian Wilson has it. They ruled him down. Wilson combining with Ogba with a hit on Lamar Jackson.
I think Jackson's left knee may have been down before the ball came out. Good catch of a bad snap. Yeah, that left knee was down before Wilson could pull that one out.
Yep. So it'll go down as a sack. Loss of 1 on the play.
So do we start calling John Harbaugh Riverboat?
Man, he is certainly approaching this with the idea. It could be part of the weather storyline as well, that he knows that there might be some serious rain coming in. Jackson dump off. Ingram takes a pop. And he's chopped down just short of the 45 by Williams. So it'll be 3rd down here for Baltimore.
Good use of your personnel, too, on that 4th down. Bringing in the big fullback, Gus Edwards, 240 pounds. Call him Gus the Bus. He's a downhill hammer, and they hammered for a risky play, but a conversion nonetheless.
Dime package here for Kansas City. 7th play of the drive for Baltimore. Jordan Lucas in as the extra defender in the secondary. From the pistol. Ingram slowed down and could not get the necessary yardage. Chris Jones, who has shifted inside on a contract year, but is so versatile. Outside, inside, can get to the quarterback, a 3-yard pickup.
And guess what? It's 4th down, so what do?
They're going
for
for
it again. This will be the 4th quote-unquote risky play for the Ravens. That just tells you a little bit about Harbaugh's attitude. He knows he has a dominant defense and a very talented quarterback to run this type of offense.
4th and 2. Jackson moving pocket. Throws. Incomplete. You had 2 Ravens in the area. Brown and Andrews stacked together. And Baltimore hands the football over to Kansas City on downs. Ravens go for it on 4th. And it's snuffed out. 7-6, Kansas City. Story of the game so far, John Harbaugh is not going conservative. He is challenging the Kansas City defense, and it's worked out on occasion. The last risk did not. KC defense stops Baltimore's offense. Kelce, a catch in a crowd and no gain on the play. Judon put some pressure on.
Well, here's Andrews. He's going to go down here right for the first down. But check out the rookie here, Marquise Brown. He obviously messed up on this play because he takes out his tight end. And the wise thing that Jackson did there is he still didn't try to force it in. He threw it at their legs for the incompletion and not the interception.
Motion man is Hardman. Darrell Williams in. They try to toss it to the outside. Hardman a juggle. And Hardman's got ridiculous speed. Can he get into open space? He can! McCole Hardman out of bounds. A miss by Averett and Tony Jefferson. And Hardman, exciting player. It didn't start out on the right foot, but it ended pretty well.
Yeah, it looked like the ball might have been tipped, and he made a good adjustment to the catch and then does his best Tyreek Hill imitation for 14 yards. See, Mahomes was out in front, decided to hook slide instead of trying to throw a block. Smart play.
Kansas City on the move here with Mahomes sending McCoy to his right. Fake. Mahomes swings it. Caught by McCoy. 2 defenders there as he sticks his helmet down and drives to the 25. 8 yards on the pitch and catch. Chuck Clark in on the stop.
Better pass protection that time for Mahomes. Really looking deep, but the Ravens guessing along with him. After their big play, a lot of teams like to go for the big play down the field, and Ravens were ready for it, forced him to take the dump-off throw.
Dan, some late breaking news here. The sun is out.
Well, you're quite the weatherman, aren't you?
Well, it is wild the last couple of days. Hardman, he's got a blocker. And then driven backwards. Hardman does have a first down. Tony Jefferson ranging over defensively. It's a 7-yard gain for McCole Hardman, the second-round draft pick.
Yeah, he had interference in front of him. Watched 14 Watkins and 87 Kelce. And good job of fighting through those blocks by the Ravens secondary.
Darrell Williams in. Also an excellent receiver. Kelce in motion. First down, Kansas City, under 8 minutes to go, first half. Mahomes deep drop off his back foot. Uncorks. Hauled in. Touchdown. DeMarcus Robinson. Fantastic grab.
Yeah, Andy Reid says that DeMarcus Robinson is a star in the making. This is a star catch. On the corner route, watch the right hand go up, stop the ball, bring it back to his body. Toe tap in the end zone. It doesn't get any better than that. Beautiful throw and catch.
Baltimore went for it on fourth down. Kansas City stopped them. They took advantage of the short field. And now Butker on for the extra point. It is 14-6. Chiefs. Mahomes gives his guy a chance to make the play. Grabs it with one hand, secures it. Swish.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator. This seat is reserved for the restless. Amazon Prime. One-day delivery on millions of items with Prime. And by McCafe Premium Roast Coffee. Good is brewing.
Back in Kansas City, great to see Mark Fidrich here. Sea of red here in KC, 5 plays, 47 yards to Marcus Robinson, his 3rd touchdown in the last 2 games. Butker's kick rolls to the back of the end zone. Well, on Monday, the Ravens hosted their 3rd annual Play 60 All-Ability Football Clinic. Participants from Special Olympics Maryland engaged in football drills with some Ravens players to help kick off the year-round efforts of the National NFL Play 60 campaign. Chiefs in front now, 14-6. Ravens, 1,083 yards in the first 2 games, the 3rd most ever behind the 2011 Patriots and the 1991 Buffalo Bills. On a gift for Ingram, powers his way to the 30-yard line. Noddy and Matthew there to make the stop.
Perfect call for Andy Reid. Here's the defensive back, Brandon Carr, former Chief. He's going to be playing inside position, so the perfect call against that is the corner route. Watch as Carr trying to take away the post. Read by Robinson and perfectly by Mahomes, and then the athletic move to get his feet down after a spectacular one-handed catch.
And Mahomes is now 13 of 16, 121 yards and a touchdown. Keep it on the ground. Ingram spins across the 35-yard line. It is enough for a first down. Darren Lee and Tyrann Mathieu collaborate. 7-yard pickup for 9-year veteran Mark Ingram.
Now Lamar Jackson has completed 5 out of 11 and none to his wide receivers.
Marquise Brown has been such a big part of the game plan each of the first 2 weeks, but that was against Miami and Arizona. Gus Edwards is in. Motion man is Brown. Edwards gets the call. Oh, big body running down the sideline with a flag down. And Edwards out of bounds. Kansas City indicating it will be against Baltimore. And the Gus bus is getting called back.
Yeah, back in the barn. Marshall Yanda with the hold.
Holding. Offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, it's 83 and not 73 on the hold. Yanda was very upset. Here's Snead on the perimeter. Oh, I don't see much of a hold right there.
So a huge play for Baltimore is called back on the hold by wide receiver Willie Snead. Ball is at the 30-yard line. Ravens would have been in Kansas City territory. Now it's Justice Hill in. They work him as part of the running back rotation. Knocked down. Jackson was trying to float it to Hill, and Tyrann Mathieu there to deny.
And this is his first pass defense of the season. On the blitz, getting up in the air to knock that one down.
Impressive vertical by Mathieu.
He's 5'9".
Mathieu, new face. Breeland, new face. Damian Wilson, Frank Clark, Okafor. They made a lot of changes. 2nd and 17. Jackson out of the pocket, looking downfield. The fake. Oh, video game. Out of bounds. Alex Okafor just trying to hold his ground there defensively against Lamar Jackson.
You got to put extra tape on your ankles when you're playing against Jackson. Okafor goes for the okey doke.
Whoop. But not serious damage to the Kansas City defense. It's still 3rd and long here for Baltimore.
Just 1 of 4 converting 3rd downs for the Ravens. That's why they've gone for it so many times on 4th down. 3 times in this first half.
Shotgun for Jackson on 3rd and 13. Jackson underneath. Catch is made by Boyle, but well short of a first down. They gain 9. Ben Neiman with the wrap-up.
In a game against a team that has so much firepower, you can't afford to make any mistakes. And that penalty on Snead is just huge at this point. They had something going after that long run.
Sam Cook will punt it. DeAnthony Thomas, dangerous return man, waiting at the 12-yard line for Kansas City. Morgan Cox, the snapper. Some token pressure. Cook's punt along the sideline and well placed. It'll be touched at the 4, and that's where the Chiefs will have it. 53-yard boot by Sam Cook. Kansas City in front in the second. Mata's numbers here for Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes has been money. 13 of 16, 121 yards and a touchdown. Running play, McCoy bursting through. So that'll loosen things up as Sam Cook flipped the field. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is trying to be a puppeteer working against this Baltimore defense.
Oh, very good.
Thanks.
Follow the pictures well. A lot of fresh faces for the Ravens along that defensive line, too, right now.
Kansas City had just 31 rushing yards last week, 1.41 yards per carry, lowest ever for an Andy Reid coach team. McCoy stumbles, but was upright just long enough for the first down. 4-yard gain for LaShawn McCoy. Tony Jefferson saved what would have been a larger gain for McCoy.
Yeah, McCoy still has a great strength in his legs. Watch as he'll step through this tackle of Jefferson. Keeps his balance with his left hand just enough to pick up the first down.
So first down for Kansas City. Line of scrimmage is the 17. McCoy remains in there. Mahomes looking to throw it. He will. Delivers downfield. Catch made. McCall Hardman. Goodbye. A blur. Touchdown, Kansas City. They can strike from anywhere.
And any time. Just in the slot, just running a go route. A bust in the secondary. Looked like Earl Thomas was supposed to be in the middle of the field, but once he has the ball in his hands, remember, Mecole Hardman runs a 4.240. Looked like he ran a 4.280 that time.
.83 yards caps off the 3-play, 96-yard drive. And that extra point was no good. Butker just missed it, 20-6. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance. Kansas City with a 20-6 lead, so the missed extra point could loom large based on the fact that Baltimore didn't get it when they went for 2 after the Ravens' lone touchdown. And Harrison Butker will kick it off. Last 2 games, second quarter only, 48-0 Chiefs. And a touchback. Third-year kicker Harrison Butker. He's been excellent for Kansas City.
Yeah, this is just his 5th miss in his career. Now 103 out of 108. As you said, because of the 14-point difference now. Remember, Butker missed a crucial field goal in last year's game that would have won it in regulation.
Yeah, last year was a wild game. 41-yard pass play on 4th and 9. That was the most memorable play. Mahomes to Hill to help fuel the Kansas City rally. Now it's Baltimore that's looking to come from behind, and Jackson sits down. Derek Nottie read it. Jackson on the keeper. It's a loss on the play. So Steve Spagnuolo's defense has held up well for Kansas City. We knew this would be a test for both sides.
Well, it's a work in progress for Spagnuolo and this defense. He's getting to know what his different players can do. He's got a new safety in Tyrann Mathieu, new corner in Bashaud Breeland, but they are containing Lamar Jackson so far here in the first half.
We are down to 2:20 remaining in the second quarter. Once again operating out of the pistol, Jackson straight back. Good hands there by Hurst, and he turns it upfield for a first down. Brought down by Mathieu on the play. It covers 11 yards. And Mathieu shaken up on that play. He's hunched over on one knee.
Now Mathieu got drilled in the back by his own teammate, Anthony Hitchens.
2-minute warning here in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings. Eat, drink, and breathe football and wings. And by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Two minutes left, first half, 20-6 Kansas City. Baltimore with a first down. Jackson fires it in, and it's knocked away. Mathieu stayed in along with Anthony Hitchens. The 2-minute warning allowed them to do so. And it was Mathieu who was in on that play. Andrews the intended target. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
If Mathieu could have hung on to that ball, he had a full head of steam heading towards the goal line. He might have been able to score.
Mark Ingram in there, a minute 55 to work with. Jackson will toss it underneath. Catch is made by Willie Snead, who slips out of a tackle and veers out of bounds. Anthony Hitchens there.
And finally, a wide receiver for the Ravens makes a reception. A key one there for 13 yards and gets out of bounds, picks up the first down.
54 points scored in the second quarter so far this season. It's tied for second most in any quarter through 3 games in NFL history, behind just the Dallas Cowboys going way back. Jackson is sacked. Lamar Jackson goes down. Chris Jones collapsing the pocket. A flag thrown at midfield.
Now the officials have got to do a better job of blowing their whistle louder.
Before the ball is snapped, false start. Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And it's Snead who just made that catch. He was called on that holding penalty on the previous possession. And it looked like Baltimore was going into Ravens football mode on that possession. They were just going to continue to feed the running backs. And it all got thwarted based on the hold.
Yeah, a little flinch there by Snead, but the crowd noise resulted in Lamar Jackson taking a pretty big hit. And it was unnecessary because the flag was thrown before the ball was snapped.
Deep fade, sidearm toss, dropped by Hill. 2nd and 15. Remember, Baltimore will get the football to start the third quarter.
Yeah, so it's important if they just get 3 points here to go into the locker room feeling, a little bit better about themselves and knowing they're going to get another shot with the second half kickoff.
And then they have to use the clock as well.
No question.
You cannot give Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs another chance to touch it with a minute and change.
That's a good point.
Jackson, pump fake, sets his feet, throws it downfield, incomplete. It went through the hands of Willie Snead, who's listed at 5'11".
Well, this secondary is really frustrating Lamar Jackson at this point. He's unable to get to his first receiver, and now it's forcing the ball into coverage. Good deep drop that time by Ben Neiman. Made it an impossible shot for Snead.
We asked Jackson what his experience was like playing here last year. He said, I love playing here. We're trying to make it our home. You can quiet the crowd if you make plays. 3rd and 15. Jackson, deep ball, too far. Extending Hayden Hurst. And now it's 4th down with a minute 28 left.
And they had quieted the crowd after that opening drive and the touchdown. But by failing to make the 2-point try after the touchdown, just brought this crowd back. And, of course, Mahomes taking over from there.
Kansas City has 2 timeouts to work with as well. The punt from Cook. Thomas wants to return it and will. Walked out just across the 15-yard line by Justin Bethel. Tuesday on CBS, Ziva is back on the season premiere of television's #1 drama, NCIS. That's Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. So 1:18 left to play in this second quarter. Kansas City will have it at its own 17-yard line. They've built a 20-6 lead.
You know what happened last time they're on the 17-yard line?
I do recall, yeah.
Yeah, 83 yards like that.
Kansas City trying to start 3-0 for the third consecutive season. Mahomes on first down. Swing it to Darrell Williams. Working that sideline. Williams is out of bounds up at 25. So Baltimore won the toss, deferred, and actually did its job defensively. They stopped Kansas City on the first possession, but since that point, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown for Andy Reid's squad.
Yeah, and give the offensive line a lot of credit. It's been a while since Mahomes has hit the turf. In that first couple of drives, he was hitting it every other play, it seemed.
They're going empty here on a 2nd and 2. A hot pass, knocked away. The ball ricocheted a distance. The hit by Brandon Carr, former Kansas City Chief, on Mecole Hardman. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, just a note defensively for the Baltimore Ravens. Did not see and do not see Marlon Humphrey on the field right now. He was in the blue tent during the previous possession offensively for Baltimore. No injury officially at this point, but I do not see him on the field. Try to get a report at halftime, but that would be a big loss to a secondary that's taken an injury hit in the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith already down with a knee injury. Andrew Wiley did return after he left with what appeared to be an issue with his leg. Mahomes, there's that sidearm to Kelce. They convert. New set of downs. Tyus Bowser forced Mahomes to sling it quick. And now working quickly with those 2 timeouts. 52 seconds to go. Mahomes pumps a couple of times, throws to a spot. Demarcus Robinson, is it a clean catch? It is.
Tremendous anticipation by Mahomes. He lets go of this ball well before Robinson is out of his break. Great body control again for Robinson. That's a catch.
The previous play is under review.
So under 2 minutes, they take a look at it, triggered here at the stadium, and then New York will check it out. Robinson moving awkwardly after the grab, so 2 knees down and then bringing it into his body.
Just tremendous awareness of where he is on the field and what he has to do to secure the catch.
And we asked Patrick Mahomes about Robinson. He said, look, I always had confidence in him. They worked together a lot Mahomes' rookie year when he was backing up Alex Smith. Did a lot of scout team stuff together, so they developed chemistry at that point. Now it's carrying over into the games because of the Tyreek Hill injury.
You know, and all that time working together when you don't have the pressure of actually playing, you have more fun, number one, and it's like playing backyard ball. As you're out there after practice, say, okay, let's try that one on the sideline. Okay, let's try a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. All those things, and if there's ever a backyard quarterback, we're seeing 2 of them today, and their unique abilities to throw from different angles, to move around, to buy time, all those good things that these young quarterbacks are doing now in the NFL.
They're checking to see, was the ball moving or did he secure it to his body? To me, that looked like a clean catch. He was covered up immediately by Carr.
Yeah, to peel it off his face mask at first.
So Gene Steratore, our rules analyst, has been watching the same video in New York. What do you see, Gene?
I think it's just a great catch from the beginning. I was continuously looking to see if he had possession
After
initially,
review,
you know, and then it disengaged.
It was a completed catch, and the call stands. Will the game clock operator please set the game clock to 49 seconds, please? 4-9.
And Gene, you and John
I
Hussey
think
are
it's
in
a great
agreement.
ruling.
Yep, they were on top of it, and it was the right thing to take a look. So that decision made upstairs here at Arrowhead. But it is a clean catch for Kansas City.
A lot of times in this type of situation, you'd be thinking about getting the field goal kicker in range. I think they wait on that decision.
Yeah.
With Mahomes.
Well, because Mahomes' range is the entire field.
Absolutely. And you can see Robinson is shaking off that little hitch in his giddy up.
49 seconds left. Ball spotted at the KC 49. They already lead it 20-6. Watkins has been quiet. Mahomes looking. Mahomes uncorks. Incomplete. Travis Kelce matched up with Brandon Carr. Tight end and a corner. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the gang back in New York. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
As we anticipated, Chiefs are airing it out today. 23 passes so far to just 8 runs. Remember the last time these two teams played, Mahomes threw it 53 times.
Patrick Mahomes, who turned 24 years old earlier this week. 2nd and 10. Well designed out of the backfield. Darrell Williams works his way out of bounds. Maurice Kennedy there defensively. 4.5 for Williams on the catch.
Yeah, and more importantly, gets out of bounds. That was a good play by Kennedy because he did not allow him to cut back. Really forced him to go to the outside and pick up a marginal gain.
Andy Reid told us, I'm not sweating the running game right now.
Why would he?
I'm comfortable with who we've got. We'll get it going eventually. Those were his words. They've rushed for 45 yards in this first half. 3rd and 5. Big play. Mahomes. A strike. Downfield. Mahomes makes the connection with Kelce. And Kansas City is set up nicely with 32 seconds left. A timeout call.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 now on 3rd down conversions for Mahomes. Clean pocket, allowing Kelce to do his thing against the zone coverage. Watch as the linebacker lets him go into the dead area there. Picks up 19 yards for Kelce. He's having another big day. 6 catches right now for 75 yards.
Last year, he said that 4th down play to Hill in the game against Baltimore, he remembers every aspect of that play, snap to whistle, and will remember it for the rest of his life. He thought that was the most legendary moment that he's ever been a part of on a football field. 33 seconds to go, first half. Mahomes, shotgun. Flag down. Mahomes looks, throws to the end zone. Incomplete. Demarcus Robinson, the intended target. Will they get Schwartz on a hold?
Yes, they will.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. First down.
All right. That makes it more interesting.
Well, you talked about Mahomes' range. Here's an illustration of it. And he's completed 6 passes of over 15 yards in the first half. Last year, he led the NFL in that category. Totally fearless, and gave Robinson a real good shot at that one.
And Dan, now multiple touchdown passes for Mahomes in 14 straight games. The NFL all-time record is Peyton Manning, 15 in a row. Mahomes could shatter it. 25 seconds left, 1st and 20 now. Mahomes a deep drop. Over the middle to Watkins. And he dives across the 25-yard line. So they make back that yardage and then some with Kennedy there. But the clock is moving down to 12 seconds, 11 seconds. Kansas City has the 1 timeout remaining.
And Andy Reid calls it from the sideline.
With 10 seconds left to play. Final timeout used by the Chiefs. Well, it was week 14 last year against Baltimore. 4th and 9, late in the 4th, down by 7. Mahomes keeps it alive and somehow finds Tyreek Hill for a 48-yard gain that led to the touchdown, which tied it. The Chiefs eventually won the game in overtime.
And that's a throw where the coaches are yelling, no, no, no. All right. I mean, you're taught as a quarterback, never, ever throw late across the middle, let alone throw it 40 yards down the field where anybody can take a shot at it.
Well, Dan, Mahomes is upset, and you could understand why, how all of that just went down. Mahomes was trying to get at least one play off.
Yeah, there was definitely confusion. And now the Ravens, they call timeout, want to get their field goal block team in there, take the defense off the field.
So Harrison Butker will come on for a fairly long field goal. Just missed on an extra point. Mahomes shot a look over the Kansas City sideline when that timeout was taken. He was trying to rush the offense to the line. Yeah, the other option is you try one play, at least go into the end zone. It's not going to take the full 10 seconds.
Absolutely, and a smart throw would be to the sideline, obviously, or deep in the end zone. Give Kelce a shot at going up high to make a catch. A lot of options on that play.
But Andy Reid is elected for a 42-yard field goal attempt for Butker. 10 seconds left. Butker's kick is good. 23-6, Kansas City. 5 seconds remaining on the clock here in the second quarter. Colquitt got it down. Butker drove the ball through. Butker was signed to a 5-year, $20.3 million deal, so they have a high trust level in their kicker. Meanwhile, for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, second time trailing at the half with Jackson as the starting QB. Both have come against Kansas City, and that is his only regular season loss as a starting quarterback. Of course, lost the playoff game last year. Key play in the first half. That fourth down, they made the decision to go for it out near midfield, didn't get it, gave Kansas City the short field. Rolling to Justice Hill. And Sorensen got in there on special teams at the 25. That'll be it for the first half here in Kansas City. 23-6, the Chiefs lead the Ravens. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. Getting ready for the second half here in Kansas City, where the Chiefs lead the Ravens 23-6. Let's check out our first half highlight presented by DirecTV. Patrick Mahomes to McCole Hardman on the deep one.
And you can see the pass protection. Nobody anywhere near Mahomes and nobody near Hardman as he crosses the goal line. 20 of 25 and a couple of touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes.
Ian Eagle along with the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. The rest of our CBS crew here in KC. Weather is held off for the most part, but there is still some rain in the forecast for the second half. Nothing is slowing down Patrick Mahomes, this QB clash. That was the big storyline coming in. Lamar Jackson, what have you seen from Jackson in the first half?
Well, he has 8 completions in the first half, but only 1 to a wide receiver. And that's just not going to work because at some point the pressure is going to get to him and he's not going to be able to find the outlet receiver. And of course, that big gamble there by Harbaugh going for 2 backfires, and the Chiefs really took advantage of that.
So the big one, of course, to Hardman. 2 touchdowns for Mahomes in that first half. And the numbers, Jackson 8 of 19, 75 yards. No major mistakes, though, for Lamar Jackson. Mahomes, it's just an exhibition every single week. 20 of 25, 273 yards. And the 2 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. And just on cue, it has started to rain. Just a drizzle right now, but there is some precipitation.
I've never seen a guy cheer for rain so hard in my life.
Wait, what are you saying? This is the announcer jinx?
I think, no, you are right. It is raining.
How does that affect play?
I don't think it's going to affect Patrick Mahomes. Remember, we talked about, his mom gave me the big tip that one of his great high school games was when it was raining and very, very cold, and she was surprised how well he played. He's not a surprise anymore to anybody.
So Butker will kick it off. Justice Hill is the deep man for Baltimore. Second half here in Kansas City. Both teams at 2-0. Let's check in with Evan.
Line one, I appreciate you putting all that rain mojo in the air because, as you mentioned, it is starting to come down out here. I spoke to John Harbaugh coming out of the tunnel, and he said, look, we're inches away from making some big plays. A lot of football left to be played. Feels like they have to obviously tighten things defensively. And one good sign on that side of the ball, Marlon Humphrey did come out on the field with his helmet. I'm told he is available to play. We'll see once they take the field defensively. He did miss that last series of the first half.
Yeah, one of the numbers, Evan, that stood out in preparation, the Ravens have had over 100 more rushing yards than their opponent in 9 straight games. That's the longest streak in the Super Bowl era. And at some point, you would think they're going to try to just establish the run and jam it down Kansas City's throat, and they did that on the first play from scrimmage, second half, to Mark Ingram for 9. So 158 total yards for Baltimore in the first half. The problem, they gave up 307 to Kansas City. And the Chiefs were outstanding on third down conversions. 2nd and 1 for the Ravens. The call is to Ingram, and he's got enough for a first down. Combination of Noddy and Clark with a tackle.
Now, this is a good start to the second half for the Ravens, featuring Ingram behind this offensive line and giving them something positive to start the second half to boost their confidence.
Gus Edwards now in for Ingram. Give it to him. Edwards picks his way through, and Edwards with a burst into Kansas City territory. Got a good block from Bradley Bozeman, the second-year offensive guard from Alabama, for 15 yards.
Yeah, really good vision, too, by Gus the Bus Edwards. Remember, Harbaugh said that Gus checked out the weather report, saw that it was going to rain, and really picked his spirits up.
He
Figured
did.
he'd get a few more touches in this ball game.
Big smile on his face when he looked at the Doppler. First down for Baltimore. Jackson again on a give. Edwards. Edwards, great move to the outside and hit from behind. It's a first down run with Skura and Yonda leading the way.
Yeah, Juan Thornhill got schooled there that time. Watch him try to go low, number 22 here, and just steps right out of that tackle. Remember, Edwards had that huge run in the first half that was called back because of the penalty. 4 straight runs to start the second half, all 4 positive.
There was a hold on Willie Snead in the second quarter that negated the Edwards run. Justice Hill, this time they're ready. It's a 1-yard pickup for the 4th-round draft pick. He brings speed as well. 2-time all Big 12 performer for Oklahoma State. Had 1,467 yards rushing back in 2017 and 15 touchdowns.
Greg Roman says he plays bigger than his size. He's 5'10", 200 pounds, but the speed is the main asset for Justice.
And that pick was acquired in the Joe Flacco deal with Denver. Pistol. Again, Edwards. So there's no mystery right now what the Baltimore Ravens are doing. They're getting back to the basics. Ronnie Stanley holding up well with a good block up front. 6 plays, 48 yards on this drive, all of them on the ground.
And they're pounding the Chiefs right in the middle, so the next type of thing you'd expect from this offense is maybe an option play here and getting Jackson on the perimeter.
Harbaugh was an assistant under Andy Reid for 9 years in Philly. Jackson turns the corner. Jackson ducks out of bounds. Lamar Jackson, look, there are fast quarterbacks in the NFL. We understand that. I think Jackson's at a different level when you start talking about the speed at the QB position.
The speed, the athleticism, the power, knowing when to make the right decision on the option. It's been a rough series for Juan Thornhill as he had Jackson but couldn't bring him down.
So now these numbers are starting to go on the up. uptick. Ingram 60 yards and a touchdown. Jackson gets involved to get Baltimore the first down. Jackson out of the pocket. He'll throw it back in the end zone. The juggle, Hurst could not secure it. Pressure from Ogba, the former Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, that's the key on that play for the Chiefs was Ogba got into the face of Jackson, forcing this impossible throw to the back of the end zone for Hurst.
They are stacked at tight end between Andrews, Boyle, and Hurst.
I may have misspoke when I said impossible, because with these two quarterbacks, it appears anything's possible.
Opening drive of the second half. The Baltimore Ravens on the move. Back to the bread and butter. Slashing is Ingram. Mark Ingram, a stiff arm, and he curls inside the pylon. Touchdown, Baltimore. Terrific effort from Mark Ingram, his second of the day.
It's just a straight handoff off the right side. Orlando Brown with the first key block. Snead getting involved there. But the surprising speed, and again, Thornhill is on the negative end of that play. 9-play drive, 75 runs, 75 yards, and 8 runs on that 9-play drive.
And that's how you quiet the crowd. With Mark Ingram leading the way on this drive. The Ravens are right back in it in Kansas City. The Ravens have been absolutely shredding their opponents on the ground over the last 10 games. And now Mark Ingram is a part of it in his third game in a Baltimore uniform. Baltimore's rushing 23 carries, 159 yards. That's a 6.9 per carry average.
And this is really well executed, too. Watch the center here, Skura. The right tackle, Brown, and also Snead. Yonda comes down, allows Skura to go around. There's the kick out. Snead gets his man, and Ingram with the stiff arm for the score.
Dan, the rain has picked up here in Kansas City. And this might have been part of the thought process for John Harbaugh. He believes his team has the advantage as the conditions get worse. Unless LaShawn McCoy has something to say about it. McCoy hurdles his way across the 45. Mitchell Schwartz with a good block. And Shady still has some scoot in him, according to Andy Reid.
Well, we may see more running because of this weather, but this is outstanding effort here. Kelsey way down the field, blocking, giving him an extra 10 yards or so, and then leaping over the top of Brandon Carr. 25 yards all the way out to midfield in one play.
Shotgun formation here for Mahomes. And now Williams will shift to the backfield. Longest run of the season for McCoy in his third game as a Chief. They'll try Darrell Williams. The knife by Williams as he crosses the 45. 7-yard gain for Darrell Williams. One cut and go for the LSU product.
Well, he's a big guy, too, 225 pounds. So we saw the power of Ingram for the Ravens. Chiefs responding with 2 straight runs.
Darrell Williams played behind Fournette and Geis at LSU, so there were not a whole lot of opportunities for him collegiately. Undrafted free agent last year. Give it to Williams again. And he's bottled up just short of the first down. Needed to get to the 40. They will spot the football in between the 41 and the 40. Matthew Judon with the tackle for Baltimore.
And you mentioned earlier how good the Chiefs have been on third down this afternoon. 4 out of 5. And this one, the shortest of the 6 now. They started the game missing their first third down conversion.
It's a 3rd and 1 for Kansas City. 8:45 to go in the third. Trying to power it. A second effort there by McCoy. Boy, I don't think he got it.
Yeah, the officials are coming in, marking him short of that 40-yard line.
Kenny Young came sliding through defensively. And this could be decision time for Andy Reid. They're going to send Darrell Williams in, McCoy to the sideline, and they're going to go for it on 4th and less than a yard.
Now, this is really out of the range of Harrison Butker. His longest career field goal is 54 yards, and the rain coming down makes the snap and the hold that much more difficult.
Pivotal play for the Baltimore defense. 4th down. Snap was low. Mahomes won't get there. Mahomes lost the football at the end of it. It doesn't matter. Baltimore takes over.
Well, the rain contributed to that. The field obviously is wet.
And having a chat with Austin Ryder.
You can see the ball slipped out of the hand of Ryder and made it difficult for Mahomes. He's really in no man's land here as the ball gets popped out.
Earl Thomas popped it free, and a look of consternation. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs didn't get it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Modelo, a taste that's pure gold, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by Burger King. Try the all-new Impossible Whopper, made from plants.
Well, John Harbaugh, when we spoke with him yesterday about the potential of rain, he said, hey, look, little things that you just can't take for granted. The exchange center to quarterback, it just benefited his team as Mark Ingram gets the carry. Best starting field position of the day for the Baltimore Ravens. Ingram got hit down low by Darren Lee.
And, you know, the other thing, the center should have a towel to keep his hands dry. And obviously, Reader's hands were not dry on that snap. And maybe you don't run as much shotgun as you normally do because of that risk.
It's not a downpour by any stretch. It's back to the drizzle now here at Arrowhead. 2nd and 7. Give to Gus Edwards. And he's stacked up after the gain of 2. Down to Evan.
And guys, when it comes to shotgun or under center for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they're 2nd in the NFL, 91% from shotgun. But John Harbaugh was effusive in the fact that he thought that they could go under center with Lamar Jackson and be comfortable with it. So something to watch here. If the conditions continue to worsen, do they go against what they've done through the first 2 weeks and go under center?
It does really limit the style of offense. You're not going to be running many zone reads with a quarterback under center, and that's such a big part of this offense.
3rd and 5. Willie Snead goes in motion. Jackson tipped. Incomplete. He was trying to hit Marquise Brown. And Ogba got a piece.
Well, Ogba's a big, tall, 6'4". Watch him react to this pass. Fighting off a blocker, checking out the eyes of Jackson. So frustrating for a quarterback. He had a wide open receiver. Jackson is now 0 for his last 5 passes.
Ogba did not get as much attention as some of the new faces on the Kansas City defense, but he's proving to be an important cog here. The punt from Cook. Anthony Thomas gets out of the way, and the ball rolls into the end zone. Coming out to the 20-yard line. Kansas City forces Baltimore into a 3-and-out. They maintain a 23-13 lead. 10-point lead for Kansas City with 6:21 to play in the 3rd quarter. LaShawn McCoy in the backfield. Kelce goes in motion. Mahomes has time. Mahomes downfield. Caught! Sammy Watkins comes away with it. It was nearly intercepted.
Well, Owasso had the best shot at it. Owasso is just a 6-foot middle linebacker here. Mahomes gently throws it over the top. And actually, Owasso got his fingers on it. Great concentration by Watkins to pull it in. Another 300-yard day for Patrick Mahomes.
5 catches, 64 yards for Sammy Watkins. Mahomes on the move. Hits his man along the sideline to Marcus Robinson. A solid gainer of 7 yards on 1st down. So Patrick Mahomes, Dan Obermuller is our broadcast associate on the crew. and he's got to make up graphics throughout the week. He was very busy this week in particular, because when you have Patrick Mahomes as part of your assignment, things are changing very quickly. He's moving up lists, and this is one that there's a chance he'll be at the top of the heap.
Good chance. But will Obermiller be at the top of the heap?
That remains to be seen. Give it to Darrell Williams. He's got a first down leaning in. He lowered the shoulder with Wiley and Irving. Again, playing without Eric Fisher. No timetable on the return of Fisher, who is dealing with what was called a groin injury, now core muscle injury, required surgery, and it's been Cam Irving in there at left tackle.
And he's done a good job, despite the fact that he's been nursing a sore elbow. But since that first quarter, Mahomes has been pretty clean in the pocket. And when he has 3 to 4 to 5 seconds, you can expect a big play like the one we just saw at Watkins.
Mahomes said he's got full trust in Cam Irving, prepared for situations like this. He's a jack of all trades. Mahomes looks downfield, but goes underneath to Darrell Williams, and a flag is down as Williams crosses the 15. Penalty marker thrown at the 22. Chiefs are upset. 17-yard catch and run appears to be coming back.
Block in the back by Travis Kelce negates a heck of a play by Williams.
Block in the back. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
NFL Today update, let's send it to New York. JB and Phil Simms.
Eagles flying back.
They sure are. Carson Wentz, 20 yards to Nelson Aguilar. Gets a touchdown there. The Lions now lead 20-17. And, well, we just wanted to say hi to Ian, Dan, and Evan. Hope things are going well out there.
You know what? Ian is not guilty of the Mahomes syndrome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. We have not seen the Mahomes syndrome, the no look yet from Patrick Mahomes, guys. Great to hear from you. And the Eagles are getting tested at the wide receiver position. Very banged up. Mahomes puts it to Byron Pringle. So study your roster when you show up to do a Kansas City Chiefs game. That's 7 yards on the connection. Second year out of Kansas State. Spent last year on injured reserve.
Well, from this side, it's going to be Earl Thomas out of his safety position, blitzing, getting picked up nicely, and Mahomes knowing exactly where the Pringles are.
You're hungry. Mahomes, incomplete. Sliding one way was Robinson, and Mahomes was offline. It's now 3rd and 6 for Kansas City. So Marlon Humphrey back in there for Baltimore. As Evan mentioned, he was dealing with something. It was in the pop-up tent. Andrew Wiley left this game at one point, returned at left guard for Kansas City. And once again, it's Darrell Williams in on 3rd down. Wink Martindale's defense going against the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs offense. Mahomes, they handle the rush initially. Mahomes, touch pass, picked off with a flag thrown. Carr steps in front, the former Chief. And Baltimore has got it. The question will be the penalty marker.
They may get Tony Jefferson for pass interference and not on the intended receiver. There's the pass interference, trying to get the ball to Hardman. Carr's interception wiped out.
Defense, number 23. Ball he placed the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
So it's Tony Jefferson defending the running back. And that pick by Carr is wiped out.
That would have been the first interception of the season thrown by Mahomes. Not to be.
5th accepted penalty, costing Baltimore 48 yards. 13-yard penalty. McCoy sets up as a receiver. Mahomes steps up, flag down. Mahomes running. And Mahomes caught from behind with a second flag, 3rd flag.
And
so 3 on the play.
Yeah, sideline to sideline are the flags. One in the backfield. That was the first one to come out. Most probably a hold, but there's 2 more to talk about.
Mahomes got out of the pocket, and as he broke contain, the first
There
flag
are
came.
multiple fouls on the play, both by each team. Holding, offense, number 62. Holding, defense, number 25. Holding, offense, number 25. All those penalties will offset, and we'll replay first down.
Sometimes it makes you wonder why, if one team makes 2 penalties, the other is only 1.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
John Harbaugh is asking, well, who was that penalty against with Baltimore? There is no 25 on the Ravens roster. McCoy in the backfield. Give it to him on a little misdirection. McCoy cannot break away from Jefferson. A gain of 1 for McCoy. Yeah, Tony Jefferson, when we spoke to him about defending the Kansas City offense, he said you really have to approach it as if it's 2 separate plays. It's the original play that they call, and then when that play's not working, it's the backyard football that Mahomes and company can run. So as a defender, it just keeps you on your toes the entire time.
They need to get a better pass rush on Mahomes.
Hardman, the motion man, on 2nd and 9. Mahomes fades, hits McCoy. McCoy, the acceleration, touchdown, Kansas City. The catch and run by McCoy.
Nobody designs more screen passes. Nobody calls more screen passes than Andy Reid. Let the defense come at the quarterback. Look at the convoy out in front. And Shady really doesn't need any blocking, does he?
Just such a high level of execution on those screen passes. Mahomes to McCoy. And an extra point for Butker will put 30 on the board for the Chiefs. The question that everybody is facing around the NFL: how do you stop these guys? The Chiefs up big in the 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pepsi. Always be celebrating. And by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage.
Well, they hold the record here at Arrowhead for the loudest crowd in an outdoor venue. And this is the home opener, so they've been charged up from the start. Harrison Butker kicks it off. Justin Hill, the return man for Baltimore, not going to get a chance. Well, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens now in a deeper hole. Mahomes joins himself and Peyton Manning. 3 or more touchdown passes and no interceptions in each of the first 3 games of the season. Manning did it in 2010. Mahomes did it last year, his first year as a full-time starter, winning the MVP award. Well, we saw Baltimore go with the run game to try to change the whole tenor of this game to start the second half. 2:07 to play in the 3rd. See if they stick to their guns here or try to air it out. Jackson, the soft toss. And, oh, the jump by Nick Boyle. He did not run track and field at Delaware, but 15 yards on the catch and run as he went over Tyrann Mathieu.
That's a lot to get up in the air, too. He's 270 pounds.
Signed a 3-year, $18 million deal to stay on with Baltimore. Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst, the rest of their tight end position room. Jackson is now 9 of 22, just 90 yards through the air. Jackson takes a deeper drop, and Jackson is tossed down. Ogbah.
A big 12-yard loss. Here's Ogbah. Watch him fight his way through and get to the elusive Lamar Jackson.
He was unblocked.
He didn't go for the fake, kept pursuing, and then strongly pulls him down by the jersey.
Mark Ingram sets up as a receiver on a 2nd and 22 for Baltimore. Under a minute to go, third quarter. The toss to Nick Boyle. Brought down at the 39-yard line. That covers 11 yards, hit by Kendall Fuller. And now it's third down for the Ravens.
And you know, Ian, he's completed 10 passes and only 1 completion to a wide receiver. You just can't survive, especially against a team with the firepower of the Chiefs.
Hollywood Brown, 233 yards receiving in his first 2 games. Third all-time to start an NFL career behind Anquan Boldin and Lewis Lips. No catches today. Jackson, complete. And guess who? Marquise Brown, first down, Baltimore. 18 yards on the hookup, and that's the end of the third. Kansas City leading Baltimore as we go to the fourth. We'll return to KC after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Patrick Mahomes' mom, Randy, in attendance here at Arrowhead. Stopped by the booth. Got a chance to meet her and talk about her son and the career he's putting together. Mark Ingram driving across the 40-yard line. And, yeah, we checked out the jersey as well. It just happens to explain where her role is. She's the QB producer.
Well, and I was telling her what a nice young man she has, you know, in Patrick. And she says, you know, he needs to be meaner. He's too nice.
Really?
On the field. He's just,
no, that's not.
That's what
That's
she
not the way
said.
it should go. 2nd and 5. Jackson, deep ball over the head of Marquise Brown in a matchup with Bashaud Breeland. So now it's 3rd and 5 for Baltimore.
Yeah, I know things have clicked with Jackson and Brown, but they haven't really today. Just that one catch moments ago. But a lot of these deep passes, they've been so far overthrown that Brown doesn't have a chance to use that speed to get to it.
Operating from the 38-yard line of Kansas City, the Ravens trail the Chiefs 30-13 early in this fourth quarter. We're going to go on a running play from Mark Ingram. Oh, Ingram somehow keeps the legs churning for a first down. Bashaud Breeland had the initial contact, and Ingram would not go down.
Well, this is how you win a Heisman Trophy, too. This is what he did at Alabama. And this is what you call leading by example. You need the yardage. You keep fighting until you get it. Tremendous play.
Tough runner, excellent balance. Outside, Gus Edwards with a pretty move. Juan Thornhill out in space makes the tackle. 5-yard pickup through the air. And Baltimore threatening now with 13:35 to play in the fourth. On 2nd down, Edwards remains in there. Shotgun, Jackson. Quick toss off the hands of Willie Snead. Came over as a free agent from New Orleans last year, a 2-year, $10.4 million deal for Snead.
And he was looking to run before the ball even got there. It's a good, quick decision by Jackson, but not paid off by Snead. Another 3rd down.
3rd and 5. Jackson dealing with the crowd. They spread it. Jackson, incomplete. Throwing to Justice Hill with 2 defenders there. Now it's 4th down.
A tremendous amount of pressure on Jackson. And Hill, that's right on the border of pass interference.
Dan, Justin Tucker came running out, and he was called back. John Harbaugh's going to go for it here on 4th down. Look, a field goal puts you down by 14, but At some point, you're going to have to score touchdowns on this Kansas City defense. Hill sets up on the outside. 4th and 5. Jackson flings it downfield. Look up. He's got it. Seth Roberts turns around and fields it inside the 5. Roberts was facing the other way. He turned around and he's on the receiving end of a 25-yard pass from Jackson.
Well, the blitz by Thornhill doesn't quite get the job done. Agba is just a little late, and a Hail Mary is answered. Now, this is going to be challenging pass interference here against Seth Roberts. A lot of contact as that ball was up in the air as he was trying to fight through the defense to get to it.
Kansas City is challenging that there was offensive pass interference on the play. Timeout.
Working against Kendall Fuller is Seth Roberts.
He caught that duck in the air. Will it count?
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Kansas City will be charged a timeout, and they are out of challenges.
Yeah, they have inserted the word egregious into pass interference. Oftentimes it's a subjective call, and now when you add a word like egregious, it's more subjective, Gene.
You know, Dan, I think what we have to remember, too, is if this clear and obvious, significant hinder, but also pass interference is a subjective play that has layers in it. And we can look at this, and I think that we have a case for offensive pass interference, but does it rise to the level of the standard the NFL wants to put a flag on the ground? It appears not. That's what makes this review very difficult in games.
Andy Reid is out of challenges. 1st and goal. The give is to Ingram, who falls forward for a yard. Hit by Derek Nottie on the play. We're down to 12:48 and counting left in this 4th quarter. Baltimore in dire need of a touchdown.
But go back to the effort, though, from Lamar Jackson to just recognize he had Seth Roberts man-to-man and just put up a prayer and let him, receiver, make a play.
13th play of the drive. 3 tight ends in this formation. Ingram extends the ball, and he's in. Touchdown, Baltimore. Mark Ingram bulldozes and has just enough to break the plane. 3rd touchdown of the day for the 2009 Heisman Trophy winner.
And doing a couple of great things on that short run. Covering up the ball, keeping his legs driving, and then extending the ball across the line to gain.
Well, wait a second. It's 30-19 right now, and they're going for 2. They went for 2 earlier when they placed the ball at the 1 after a penalty.
Well, this would make it a 9-point game, I guess, is the thinking there.
Extra point, though, would make it 10.
Yep.
Jackson on a 2-point try. Spinning, throwing, broken up. The math just doesn't work.
Neither does the play selection.
It's an 11-point Kansas City lead with 12:22 to go in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Just for Men Control GX. Wash your beard daily to reduce gray gradually. Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Ravens could not convert on a 2-point try, and they now trail 30-19 to Kansas City. Saturday, the SEC on CBS features Ole Miss rushing into Tuscaloosa with upset on their mind. They challenge Tua and the 2nd-ranked Crimson Tide. It all kicks off with College Football Today, 3 Eastern here on CBS. And again, on the math, you kick the extra point, you're down 10, you're down a touchdown and a field goal. You're still down a touchdown and a field goal, but now you have to make a 2-pointer.
Yeah, just to get to a tie.
Being down 9, what does that do for you? 3 field goals? You're not going to get the football that many times. Hand off to Darrell Williams for 4, brought down by the veteran Pernell McPhee, his second stint with the Baltimore Ravens. Downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, it's been a big day for LeSean McCoy, but he is now questionable. That ankle injury is creeping back in. He was limited all week, had an MRI on it. Obviously, was able to fight through and play, but he's currently on the sideline. It's questionable, but he does not look like a guy ready to go back in.
Yeah, Evan, the MRI showed no damage, but they needed him today. No Damian Williams, so now Darrell Williams and the possibility of Darwin Thompson, rookie out of Utah State. Mahomes tosses it to Travis Kelce for a first down. 14 yards on the hookup.
Yeah, the Ravens have only been able to sack Mahomes one time today, and he has time to throw like this. Kelce's so good, whether it's man-to-man or, in that case, zone coverage. Turns his big body at 6'5", 260. Gives Mahomes a nice big target. 7th catch of the day.
Inching closer to 100 yards for Travis Kelce. First down for Kansas City. Mahomes, sideline, nobody home. Sammy Watkins in the general vicinity, incomplete. And now Darwin Thompson will come in for the Chiefs. 6th round draft pick.
Call him a ball of energy. He better be at 5'8", 200 pounds.
Most passing yards through the first 3 games in a season. Patrick Mahomes currently 4th behind Brady, Fitzpatrick, and Warner. Out of the gun, Mahomes hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Boy, they were looking to make Mahomes pay. Matthew Judon.
Well, 99 is Judon, and he comes free. Nobody blocks him at all, and he gets Mahomes right under the right arm, right in the ribs, and then takes him to the ground.
What a stamp by Judon.
This is a huge play for Baltimore's defense.
Darrell Williams in. This is 3rd and 10 for Kansas City. 10:55 to go in the 4th. Mahomes steps up, slings it downfield. It's dropped by Watkins. NFL Today update. We send it to the Big Apple. JB and Phil Simms.
14 unanswered by Cincy.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, a 1-yard pass to Joe Mixon. 11 plays on the drive for 82 yards. It makes the Bengals tied with the Buffalo Bills 14-14. Back to Ian, Dan, and Evan.
Bills trying to stay unbeaten. Cincinnati looking for its first win. And Dustin Colquitt punting. Sailing kick, bounces at the 1, rolls into the end zone. So out to the 20-yard line for Baltimore. The Ravens defense did its job. 57-yard punt, a net of 37. Lamar Jackson gets another crack at the KCD. Coming up next, second half of our NFL on CBS doubleheader. Most of you will head out to Seattle, the Saints, with a showdown against the Seahawks right here on CBS. Chiefs 30, Ravens 19, 10:40 to go here at Arrowhead. On a give for Ingram, turns it upfield, finds a lane. Mark Ingram has tied the Ravens franchise record with 3 rushing touchdowns. He has just cracked 100 yards on the ground on 16 carries.
He's cracked a lot of tackles too today. Seems like the first tackler comes to him and either whiffs or gets blown out by Ingram. Outstanding afternoon.
Ingram told us he had to learn to do a lot of things in New Orleans. Protect Breeze, catch the ball out of the backfield, rotate it in and out. Give us to Edwards, and emerging through that initial wave, Gus Edwards across the 35 for a first down. Let's go to New York, JB and Phil.
Eagles within 3.
Yeah, pulling it back. Carson Wentz, 2-yard pass to Nelson Aguilar. It makes the score now Detroit 27, Philadelphia 24. Let's throw it back to Ian, Dan, and Evan. Good games everywhere.
All right, thank you, JB and Phil. Jackson throws deep. caught by Brown. Over the shoulder grab by Hollywood.
That looked just like the Arizona game. Beautiful pass by Jackson, but look at the adjustment. Knowing where he is on the field, over the defense, feet in bounds, beats Breland for a huge play of 31.
Second catch of the day for Marquise Brown. First down for Baltimore. Jackson clean pocket. All the way downfield and too far for Brown.
That 31-yarder was their longest play of the game, and he overthrew a potential touchdown right there. Brown had his man beat again. It's that long ball that's been getting away too many times from Jackson, although Brown with the adjustment on the previous play.
Yeah, we asked Jackson, do you watch other QBs try to model your game after anybody else? He said, no, I'm my own person. On second down, swing pass for Chris Moore. With a head of steam, flag down. Moore got hit along the sideline at the 21. Penalty marker is just a yard shy of that.
Pass interference, offense, number 80. Well, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
That's the rookie from Notre Dame, Miles Boykin.
Yeah, he's blocking you, but that was almost a backwards pass, which would have negated the pass interference. It was real close, being backwards.
He was grabbing at the jersey of Charvarius Ward.
Just enough. But again, a mistake by the Ravens wipes out a positive play.
Second and 20, under 9 minutes to play. From the gun, Jackson, the sidearm toss. Catch made by Ingram. He's drilled by Breland. So modest gain on that pass play. Jackson to Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram caught the ball, and then he caught a tackle from Breland. Great reaction by Breland. Recognizing the out route by the running back, came out of his zone and almost broke that pass up.
Now they're staring at a 3rd and 17.
Oh, I bet they'll go for it on 4th down, don't you think? They don't make it all?
You going off the trends?
Yeah.
Shotgun. Jackson gets out of it. Jackson lets it fly across the field. Juggle. Oh, Willie Snead. He's got it. First down, Baltimore.
You gotta be kidding me. You talk about backyard football. We've seen this too many times today. This 23-yarder, an alley-oop, if you will. And he caught it and secured it for 23. Wow.
Lamar Jackson is a highlight machine. Jackson pulls the trigger, end zone. Incomplete. Mark Andrews, intended receiver. Everybody catches their breath now. A 2nd and 10 for Baltimore.
Well, you got to give Mark Andrews a shot at that one. He's 6'5", very athletic. Again, the ball sails too long out of the back of the end zone.
Jackson now 16 of 34, 206 yards through the air, 37 yards on the ground.
You got to love the way he's competing, too.
Fake it. Jackson to the end zone, knocked away. Tried to squeeze it into Hurst, and Matthew got back there defensively to make a play on the ball. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a great play by Matthew. Look how he came off his original assignment and almost picks this one off.
Down 11, so you need the field goal and the touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Right now facing a 3rd and 10. Jackson in trouble. Jackson has sacked Frank Clark. A loss of 6 on the play, and now the field goal unit will come on for Baltimore.
Yeah, Frank Clark picks up his first sack of the season. Good coverage in the secondary. Just a 4-man rush by the Chiefs. And a piggyback ride for Frank Clark.
So Justin Tucker comes out for a 39-yard attempt. Trying to cut it to 8. Cox snaps it. Cook holds it. Tucker knocks it through. And it's 30-22, Kansas City. 6:39 remaining in the fourth quarter. Stay tuned. NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut. Time permitting, JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights.
Now the onus is really on the running attack of the Chiefs, and they'll have to do it without LaShawn McCoy. As Evan reported, that ankle giving him a problem. Does not have his helmet with him on the sideline, so be a steady dose of Darrell Williams and Darwin Thompson. We'll see how conservative Andy Reid gets in his play selection.
McCoy, 8 carries, 54 yards and a touchdown. 4 catches, or 4 targets, 3 catches, 26 yards and a touchdown. And now the sun is bursting through the clouds. Mecole Hardman is the deep man for Kansas City. This is an 8-point game with 6:39 to play.
Chiefs are anticipating an onside kick. 8 players within 5 yards.
And Tucker booms it. Kansas City opens up the 25-yard line. Patrick Mahomes. And Baltimore put some pressure on early, but Mahomes has had more time to operate starting in the second quarter.
And he's 42 yards shy of another 400-yard game.
Last meeting December the 9th. Last year, 27-24 Kansas City in overtime. Running play to Williams. Darrell Williams busting it to the outside. Williams caught from behind. Earl Thomas just saved the touchdown, but Duvernay, Tardif, and Schwartz creating wide open space for Williams to operate.
There are the two of them, and here's Kelsey as well. This is the longest run of Williams' career. Good for 41 as he just comes within an eyelash and Earl Thomas's tackle of a touchdown.
Andy Reid told us, I trust Darrell Williams. It's that simple. Showed last year that they could rely on him. And Williams leans in for a couple extra yards. They'll give him a gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, Andy Reid said that Williams is Mr. Consistent. You can depend on him. He's smart, productive, not the fastest guy, but he expects Darrell Williams to have a very productive NFL career.
Darrell Williams, more of a bruiser, good size at 5'11", 225, was a high school quarterback. And now Darwin Thompson will check in, 5'8", 200 pounds. Timeout called by Baltimore, 5:45 to play.
But the other part of the Kansas City rushing attack are the fly sweeps to Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman. Don't be surprised if we don't see some of that. Also, remember how good they are at the screen pass.
You know, this relationship goes back a long way. John Harbaugh and Andy Reid back in the Philadelphia days. Harbaugh, a 9-year assistant under Reid. Special teams coordinator, also coached defensive backs. Darwin Thompson gets the call. And gets the reaction from the crowd as Thompson takes it inside the 25 and a first down. 1999 to 2007. John Harbaugh ended up getting the head coaching position with the Baltimore Ravens, and we asked him, how much did you take from Andy? He said, I took a lot. Football operations more than anything else, how to build a team and all the little things that go into being a head coach. and managing your squad.
And aside from the head coach, nobody addresses the team more than this special teams coach.
Double tight end set, new set of downs for Kansas City. They'll keep it on the ground. And this time Darwin Thompson has nowhere to go. Michael Pierce was there, and he's like a human eclipse. Flag down, 29-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands. Hands to the face. Defense, number 99. That 5-yard penalty will bring the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
That's Judon.
Yeah, got into the grill of Blake Bell. And left hand right around the throat. This is where if Mahomes has got to tell young Darwin Thompson one thing: protect the ball. Do not struggle for extra yardage. Get what you can get, protect the ball, get down. They're in field goal range as it is.
Give it to Thompson. Wrapped up quickly by 3 Ravens, including Pierce and Owasso. Thompson's the rookie out of Utah State, just 1 year of Division I football. Junior college transfer. And a timeout called. So 4:50 to play. Kansas City with an 8-point lead, already in field goal range, as Dan mentioned. Now just trying to use clock and see what the defense gives them. 2nd and 7 for the Chiefs.
That just shows you how huge that 41-yard run by Darrell Williams was.
Well, it just changed the whole scope of the drive.
It flipped the field, put the Ravens in a position where they must stop, must block a field goal. They will have probably no timeouts when they get the ball back.
On 2nd down for the Chiefs, Ravens have 1 timeout left. Thompson loops to the outside and takes a pop.
Well, that's a late hit out of bounds, too. It's like Judon gets away with a shot here.
Kenny Young got there first. Thompson was stepping out and then took the blow from Judon.
That's the other thing about a young rookie. You protect the ball, you stay in bounds.
He went out, and it stops the clock with 4:44 to play. On 3rd and 10 for Kansas City. Mahomes with touch, incomplete, looking for Hardman. Maurice Kennedy holds up in coverage.
That ball was really delivered on a line and didn't give the receiver much time to adjust to it.
Andy Reid, even if he didn't like the fact that there was no pass interference, he can't challenge it.
And no challenge left.
Kansas City has been streaking in September. And a field goal here could keep that streak alive. 36-yard attempt by Harrison Butker. Winchester to snap it. Colquitt puts it down. And Butker drives it through. So now it's a 2-possession game with 4:36 to play. 33-22 Kansas City. 10th all-time meeting between these two teams. Last year was so entertaining. This year, Baltimore's been playing catch-up. But last season, Lamar Jackson in a wild one. The touchdown to John Brown gave the Ravens the lead. The incredible conversion that led to the Damian Williams touchdown. Game went to overtime. Butker, 35-yard field goal. Remember, Jackson was knocked out of that game. RG3 came in, and the defense stopped the Ravens to hold on for the overtime win, 27-24, Kansas City.
You know, you watch NFL games with these two teams playing and these two quarterbacks, you're expecting these crazy throws and the completion at the end of them. Seen a couple today, and of course that huge one last year.
Harrison Butker to kick it off. Returnable for Justice Hill. Brought down at the 30-yard line by Jordan Lucas on special teams. So 4.5 minutes to work with, and the Ravens are down 11 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Updating the numbers, Lamar Jackson, 16 of 35, 206 yards. He's been sacked 3 times. 3 touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes, once again over 300 yards. 20 career starts, now 13 of them have been 300-plus yard performances for Mahomes. First down for the Ravens at their own 30-yard line. Jackson steps, spins. Oh, a shovel ahead for Mark Ingram. You never know what you're going to see with Lamar Jackson. 9 yards on the reception.
Yeah, he's an athlete, basically. Little push pass right there. More backyard football and more success with it.
Well, they gave him a good spot at the 40, so first down. Jackson, tight spiral to Andrews. And they're going to mark him down at the 45. Gain of 5. Anthony Hitchens, the tackle. Kansas City 33, Baltimore 22. Ravens got on the board first, then went for 2. Didn't get it, had to settle for a 6-0 lead. And Kansas City, the offense clicked into gear. Once again, the second quarter, the Chiefs have put on a show this season in second quarters alone. That's a 12-yard completion for Baltimore. Baltimore has hung in there against the Chiefs. They've put themselves in a position to at least put some pressure on KC. Jackson lining his guys up downfield. Instead, will check it down to Ingram. Mark Ingram. Big numbers for Ingram today on the ground. And on the receiving end, Ingram with another grab.
He's in his 9th year, but because of the style of play in New Orleans, when they had a couple of pretty good backs to alternate with, namely Kamara, he's been fresh coming over to Baltimore. He looks extremely fresh today.
We're down to 2:45 left. Toss it to the outside, Gus Edwards. He veers out of bounds right at the line to gain.
That's really a good catch by Edwards. That ball was zipped pretty good by Jackson. Edwards had to reach far in front of him with the fingertip grab.
Baltimore has 1 timeout remaining. And of course the 2-minute warning. 6th play of the drive. It's been all through the air for John Harbaugh on this possession. Lamar Jackson is 5 of 5 on the drive. Now 21 of 40 for 255 yards. Jackson, long ball, end zone, off the hands of the target Boykin. Incomplete.
And he's working against Kendall Fuller here. Or check it, that's Jarvis Ward. Ward with good coverage. And right down on top. Ball right off the fingertips of Boykin.
Charvarius Ward makes the play defensively. Young matchup, Boykin a rookie, Ward's second-year corner. 2nd and 10 for Baltimore. Jackson gets rid of it quickly, hits his man on a catch and curl. Seth Roberts. First down.
Great read by Jackson, saw the blitz coming. Outlet receiver is Roberts, and he turns up, gets valuable yards, but he did not get out of bounds.
It is 1st and goal for Baltimore. Jackson steps and throws, incomplete. Andrews took a hit as he tried to reach for it. 2:10 to play in the 4th quarter. 2nd and goal. Ball is at the 9-yard line for Baltimore. Ingram in the backfield. Jackson moves him to the other side.
There's Brown, single coverage on the outside.
Shotgun. Jackson out of the pocket. Jackson trying to run for it. Jackson avoids, spins, he's in, touchdown! Lamar Jackson is elusive.
Absolutely amazing.
An elite playmaker.
makes one miss there, and then Ward whiffs. Matthew missed. Unbelievable.
And Dan, the other part of it, it happened at 2:01 remaining. That is a huge key for Baltimore because it buys them an extra timeout. And now they go for two.
They have to go for two to get it down to a 3-point deficit.
Remember, they couldn't convert on the previous one, forcing them into this situation. Jackson looking to run for it. Jackson short. Kansas City maintains a 5-point lead. Anthony Hitchens leaning in along the perimeter to make sure Jackson couldn't get to the pylon.
Hey, he just ran out of room, basically. He couldn't really gather to leap for the pylon. Stiff arm there. Speed now to the corner. And great pursuit by the Chiefs. Hitchens up top. And Passignon down low.
You had three defenders converging into that area to make sure that Lamar Jackson could not get to the end zone. So, Baltimore going for two earlier will still be on the minds of Ravens fans. It forced Baltimore into that spot where they had to go for two after this touchdown.
And they basically can stop the clock twice, as you said. It would stop anyway after a change of possession here. But onside kick here, you can only stop the clock once with a timeout. Chiefs are anticipating it. They have 10 guys now within 10 yards.
Yeah, Hardman is now backing up. Oh, wow, a flip.
Going to do a drop kick.
He is. Up in the air.
Fair catch. Smart play by the rookie.
And Hardman brings it in.
Really smart play.
So Baltimore trying some things. Ultimately, Kansas City made the play that they had to make on special teams.
Yeah, he basically kicked it too high.
Yep.
Because his teammates couldn't get down underneath it. And I just got to really tip my hat to the rookie Hardman.
Well, also, Hardman is a return man, so he's accustomed to fielding balls like that.
No, that was a drop kick. Nobody's accustomed to fielding a drop kick. I know what you mean, though.
And now Kansas City will just try to get a first down and end this game. If Baltimore can stop Kansas City here, they have a shot of getting the ball back with about 1:05, 1:10 left. Down to the wire in KC, 33-28 Chiefs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon, the network more people rely on. And by Sonic. This is how you Sonic.
Well, it got interesting here in Kansas City. Baltimore has hung in there, but they couldn't convert on a 2-point try. Kansas City maintains a 5-point lead. One first down, and that'll do it. Give for Darrell Williams, and he runs into a crowd. Baltimore will use its final timeout with 1:51 left. And you know what that changes as well is the fact that Baltimore now needs to score a touchdown. If they get the football back, you got to go down the field and punch it in for 6, as opposed to if you kick the extra point earlier. They went for 2 early, didn't get it. That forced them to go for 2 again, didn't get it. And down by 5.
It's been a gambling type of day for John Harbaugh. He's faced 4 fourth down situations and converted on 3 of them. But of course, they failed 2-point conversion after the first touchdown of the game. The opening drive for the Ravens really has come back to haunt them.
3rd and 9. Mahomes, pump, throw underneath, caught by Williams. Darrell Williams. Oh, he's got it! The first down! And that'll do it.
And another well-executed, perfect call by Andy Reid, and the offense just could not make it any better. Out in front is Reeder.
The catch and run by Darrell Williams. It's a little bit of a gamble. I think most people will tell you, hey, just keep it on the ground. Go, not Kansas City. That's just not how they're going to operate. It's not how Andy Reid is going to approach things. On a third down, they go for it, they get it, and they close the door shut on the Ravens.
The confidence that this team is playing with because of their superstar young quarterback, MVP of the league last year, well on his way of putting his name at the top of that list after only just 3 games.
Final snap in victory formation. The Kansas City Chiefs are 3-0 for the 3rd straight season. The clash of QBs, this duel belongs to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. 33-28, KC. John Harbaugh seeking out Andy Reid. Close relationship for those two. Ravens drop to 2-1. They'll be home for Cleveland next week, then at Pittsburgh. So we're going to find out about Baltimore in the AFC North. Kansas City, meanwhile, is in Detroit, then home for Indianapolis. 10 straight September wins for the Kansas City Chiefs. For Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our CBS crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from Kansas City. Get you to our New York studios. NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut right after this in the second half of our doubleheader.